What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a video on the future of Marvel. So by now, you probably have watched Avengers Endgame, aka Avengers 4, multiple times, and you are probably left a bit disappointed. Why would you be disappointed? Because everyone walked in thinking Galactus, Kang the Conqueror, Wolverine, the Living Tribunal were going to appear in this movie. Although they didn't appear, they were definitely set up based on information that has recently been revealed. So if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the videos. We are currently giving away a Hasbro Marvel Legends Infinity Gauntlet at the end of May, which is approaching by the end of next week, being like the 31st. And then we'll announce the winner then. So all you got to do is subscribe to the channel and let me know down below what is going on with the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, although there were a lot of issues with Endgame, and I'm not the only person to say it, you can criticize parts of the movie while still loving it. Avengers Endgame was realistically a love story to the fans. It was the best of the Avengers. There was more action in Avengers Infinity War, you cannot disagree, because apart from the final battle in Endgame, there realistically wasn't much drama, whereas in Infinity War, there was multiple fights throughout the whole movie. So, did Endgame set up a massive villain? Yes, definitely. It definitely set up multiple storylines that have been teased throughout every comic book run. It teased the multiverse villains. It teased the quantum realm villains. And the directors of the movie have hinted that potentially the second snap did hint at something. So, reportedly, Marvel Studios wants Kang the Conqueror in the MCU as soon as possible. Now, this is interesting, seeing as he was one of the villains that we thought could appear in this movie. As everyone was right, there was time travel in this movie, and when you're dealing with Kang the Conqueror, time travel is definitely involved. So the information we've got to go over says this. Information has been informed to a very reliable source that the studio wants none other than Kang the Conqueror in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as soon as possible. According to what has been said, there are two places that the time-traveling character could first appear. Either the Fantastic Four reboot, something not confirmed at this point but heavily rumored and speculated, or the Young Avengers, which previously reported is in the works already over at Marvel Studios, which is very interesting because Kang the Conqueror has got a connection to the Fantastic Four. So Kang the Conqueror will understand why these two movies would be the best route in introducing this character to the audiences. So the supervillain most known as a foe of Marvel's first family, with his real name being Nathaniel Richards. He's likely a descendant of Mr. Fantastic. Likewise, he has an important role to play in the Young Avengers stories as Iron Lad, really a heroic version of Kang. The Fantastic Four would be the better option, but we're not sure whether Kevin Feige's plans yet are about to reboot the Fantastic Four or somehow introduce the Fantastic Four during Spider-Man Far From Home or Spider-Man 3 or something like that. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to introduce the Fantastic Four during Spider-Man Far From Home or anything like that. That's why the recent Deadpool rumor is kind of like, it's not realistic, because why would they introduce Deadpool during a Sony movie? But Spider-Man is a Marvel movie. No, it's not. It's a Sony movie. So why would they introduce a Sony movie to a Marvel character? Obviously, Marvel can use Kang the Conqueror, but it literally makes no sense to introduce someone like Kang or the Fantastic Four in order to build up Kang the Conqueror in the long game, because as we know, Phase 4 is apparently going to be lasting 5 years. There will be another Avengers movie, probably around the year 2022 or 23. It just literally makes no sense for them to introduce Kang the Conqueror during Spider-Man Far From Home, because although that is going to breach the multiverse, it literally makes no sense to introduce new characters during a Sony-based movie. Now, this is nothing that no one's talking about. No one is talking about the fact that Spider-Man is a Sony movie. Everyone just associates Spider-Man as being Marvel when no, it's Sony. So I don't really believe the Deadpool rumor. We did talk about it the other day, but recently I've been thinking about it and it literally makes no sense. So the reason they could have introduced Kang the Conqueror secretly is the time traveling aspect of the MCU. It's been a long kind of theory that they would introduce time travel during Endgame, and they did. It was pretty predictable, probably the most predictable movie in history. The fact that it was literally a time traveling movie. Both heroes and villains of Marvel could be introduced due to the quantum realm. Now, Kang the Conqueror is a time-traveling being. He first appeared in Avengers issue 8, taking the likes of Thor, Black Widow, hostage with a weapon he brought back from the future. Though defeated, Kang eventually returned in later Fantastic Four titles, fleshing out his story as a time-traveling warlord, ancient Egypt, pharaoh, and possibly a descendant of Mr. Fantastic himself. As time went on, the character's history became even denser, as an older version of Kang eventually appeared in the past in order to stop the future version of himself, who eventually took up the mantle of Iron Lad. So it would be very interesting if that would be an avenue they would go down. We know before going into Endgame, they said the quantum realm was going to be so important to the MCU going forward. We were even led to believe and misled that Captain Marvel's movie was going to explain the quantum realm and there was going to be some form of quantum realm time travel in that movie, but that never derived, which was pretty shocking. So I think Kang the Conqueror will be the next big villain in the MCU Phase 4 because it's perfect for the multiverse plot lines that started in Endgame, as well as introducing new teams like the Young Avengers, Fantastic Four with time. Kevin Feige's not really addressed when the Fantastic Four are going to be coming. With his various personalities, Kang has far more depth than Thanos, as we know, and as I keep saying, Thanos isn't even dead. He's just erased from time. He's disappeared. He's dusted, essentially, and he can come back at any point. Kang the Conqueror could even bring him back if he actually wanted to. And his origin is a mystery that could run through the MCU for years to come before accumulating it into an event, which would be the equivalent of Avengers, Fantastic Four, and X-Men in some MAGA Titan movie, which could be cool. So I really do think the fact that it's rumored that Marvel want Kang the Conqueror fits into time travel, it makes a lot more sense for Kang the Conqueror to show up rather than it being Galactus like every other person online, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Tumblr, on Facebook. Literally everyone says Galactus was teased in this movie, but no, it makes more sense for it to be Kang the Conqueror because Kang the Conqueror storyline is based around what is coming. It's based around the Fantastic Four. It's based around time travel. Whereas Galactus' storyline is pretty in-depth. It is pretty awesome. And also that's based around Fantastic Four. He is a world eater. And unless they're going to bring the World Eater into the sense, it makes no sense to introduce Galactus yet, unless we get into some really deep Fantastic Four storyline where Kang the Conqueror isn't introduced and they introduce Galactus instead. I really do think that Kang the Conqueror was secretly introduced during Endgame without us actually knowing, and Kang the Conqueror would be pretty cool because then they could carry on the narrative of time travel and it would make sense without them forcing the narrative on you like Marvel has a history of doing. So guys, let me know. Are you interested in Kang the Conqueror? Would you prefer the Mad Titan himself, Galactus, because Galactus technically is a Mad Titan as well? Or would you prefer Kang the Conqueror to be eaten up by Galactus? It is very interesting to see which way they're going to go. It's going to be a very long time until we get another Avengers movie, at least 3 to 5 years, somewhere in that time frame. We will find out in July at San Diego Comic-Con in Hall 8, or potentially at Disney 23 in August. They've not really revealed when Phase 4 official information is coming, but it makes the most sense for Kang the Conqueror to be the next big bad in the MCU. We know of a plethora of movies that are actually coming, but everyone wants to know, who is the big villain? Why wasn't the big villain teased in Endgame? Well, the big villain was teased in Endgame. You just didn't see it. So like always, guys, let me know down below. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? That would be interesting. That would be cool. And we can get a conversation going down below. And like always, guys, I would try and comment back to everyone that comments back. I think this is a very interesting subject to go over, as Kang the Conqueror was such a big talking point in the Marvel internet community. Kang the Conqueror was absolutely everywhere, like we said before. So why not bring him now that time travel has really been introduced, and the fact they could retcon all these plot holes that the Russo brothers, well, not Russo brothers, that the screenwriters combined with the Russo brothers created during Endgame. There's a lot of plot holes that make absolutely no sense, and their explainers don't really quantify anything. But I know what you guys are going to say. They know more. They worked in the movie. Yeah, sure, they know more, but a plot hole is a plot hole at the end game. So like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch ya later.